Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Class 6. Today we will start our lesson number 4. Its name is The Great Train Journey. It's very interesting story. It's a story of a boy who loved trains, who thought to travel by train. He wished to travel by train, and by chance once he got an opportunity to travel by train. It was actually not a common train, it was a goods train, and in the story we'll see how he got a chance to travel by that train. So let's start the lesson. There are not many hard words and it's also very easy lesson. So where I feel I will explain the lesson, otherwise we simply read the lesson. You will find it very interesting. The main character, the boy's name is Sajid. Sajid waved to the passing train and kept waving until only the spiraling smoke remained. He liked waving to trains. He wondered about the people in them and about where they were going and what it would be like there. And when the train had passed, leaving behind only hot, empty track, Sajid was left alone. It was the habit of Sajid to walk on the railway track or to go to the station, look on the trains that were passing there, and he was in the habit of waving his hands towards the train, and he wanted to see the trains moving there, and he mostly came to the tracks and looked the trains moving there. He was a little lonely now, his hands in his pockets. He wandered along the railway track, kicking at loose pebbles and sending them down the bank. Soon there were other tracks, a railway siding, and a stationary goods train. On that day he was also moving on the track, and there were some trains and some train tracks there, and there was also a goods train standing there. Sajid walked the length of the goods train. The carriage doors were closed and there were no windows. He couldn't see inside. He looked around to see if he was being observed, and then, satisfied that he was alone, began trying the doors. He was almost at the end of the train when the carriage door gave way to his thirst. So on looking that train, he just moved around that train. He just wanted to see if that doors were opened or closed. He found all the doors closed. On the last carriage, actually, he eventually found that the door was opened when he pushed it. So what he did then? It was dark inside the carriage. Sajid stood outside in the bright sunlight, peering into the darkness, trying to recognize bulky, shapeless objects. He stepped into the carriage and felt around. The objects were crates, and through the cross section of the woodwork he felt straw. He opened the door and the sun streamed into the compartment, driving out the musty darkness. So when he pushed the door of that carriage, he found himself in a compartment. There was quite darkness, and there were put some crates of something there. And he put his fingers inside. He felt there were straws filled in the crates. And when he opened the door, the darkness just changed into the light. Then Sajid sat down on a packing case, his chin cupped in his hands. The school was closed for summer holidays, and he had been wandering about all day and still didn't know what to do with himself. The carriage was bare of any sort of glamour. Passing trains fascinated him. Moving trains, crowded trains, shrieking, panting. This paragraph shows that he just sat in that carriage, and actually he was free in those days. They were holidays, and he didn't know what to do with that free time. So he just sat there on a crate in that compartment. He always liked the trains that were moving, shrieking, making the sounds. So all types of trains fascinated him. He liked them. But this smelly, dark compartment filled him only with gloom and more loneliness. It's mean that on finding that compartment on that carriage of the train, he was not happy to see it at all. He felt sadness on looking that, because there was just darkness and there was nobody inside. He didn't really look gloomy or lonely. He looked furious at times when he glared out at people from under his dark eyebrows, but otherwise he usually wore a contented look, and no one could guess just how deep his thoughts were. This paragraph shows the nature of the boy. He always looked on the people, sometime in the angry mood, but mostly he was contented, and he just look on the people and observe them, and he has very deep thoughts always. Perhaps if he had company, some fun could be had in the carriage if there had been a friend with him, someone like Umair. He was just thinking that if he had his friend with him, so he would enjoy there even in that carriage. But because he was alone at that time, so he just felt little bit sad. He looked at the crates. He was always curious about things that were bolted or nailed down or in some way concealed from him. Things like parcels and locked rooms and carriage doors and crates. As it is the nature of all the kids, they wanted to look inside everything. They have the curious nature, so this the same nature has that boy. He wanted to see inside everything. He went from one crate to another just to find what is inside that crate. Soon his perseverance was rewarded. The cover of one hadn't been properly nailed down. Sajid got his fingers under the edge and raised up the lid. He was successful in finding out one crate that its lid was not tightly closed or nailed, and he could open it. Absorbed in this operation, he didn't notice the slight shudder that passed through the train. It meant that the train started to move. There was a jerk in the train, but the boy didn't notice that jerk as he was quite busy in his observation. He plunged his hands into the straw and pulled out an apple. It was a dark ruby red apple, and it lay in the dusty palm of the Sajid's hands like some gigantic precious stone, smooth and round and glowing in the sunlight. Sajid looked up out of the doorway and thought he saw a tree walking past the train. Actually, when he was busy in just looking into the crates, and he found there the crate, it was open, and he found there apples, and he just took out an apple and put in his hand, and he was looking the beauty of apple. During that time he just looked outside, and he felt that a tree was passing by the train, and he was surprised at how the tree can walk. He dropped the apple and stared. There was another tree and another, all walking past the door with increasing rapidity. Sajid stepped forward but lost his balance and fell on his hands and knees. The floor beneath him was vibrating, the wheels were clattering on the rails, the carriage was swaying, the trees were running now, swooping past the train, and the telegraph poles joined them in the crazy race. So all that paragraph just apparently showing that the trees were moving, the poles were moving, and there was vibration in the train. But actually what happened, the train started its journey, but boy did not notice its journey as he was quite busy in his observation the crates. So what happened? Crouching on his hands and knees, Sajid stared out of the open door and realized that the train was moving fast, moving away from his home and puffing into the unknown. He crept cautiously to the door and looked out. The ground seemed to rush away from the wheels. He couldn't jump. Was there, he wondered, any way of stopping the train? He looked around the compartment again. Only crates of apples. He would not starve. That was one consolation. So when he noticed that the train was moving, now he wondered how can he moved out of the train. He could not even jump as the train was moving so fast. He just looked around him and he was quite satisfied that there were apples there in the compartment and he would not be starved. So what did he do now? He picked up an apple he had dropped and pulled a crate near to the doorway. Sitting down, he took a bite from the apple and stared out of the open door. He just started to eat the apple and just started to look out of the door of the carriage. "Greetings, friend," said a voice from behind, and Sajid spun around guiltily, his mouth full of apple. When he was just eating the apple and looking out of the train, he just listened a sound that asked him, that said him uh, from behind. And Sajid moved quickly, and his mouth was full of apple. And here we can also notice that the boy was quite confident. He was not afraid that he was by chance traveling in the train. He was going away from his home, and there was a stranger in front of him, and maybe he can be dangerous for him. He just looked at the person. There he saw a dirty, bearded face was looking out at him from behind a pile of crates. The mouth was open in a wide grin. That person, he was looking at the boy and he was smiling. He was just hiding behind the crates. Hello, said Sajid apprehensively. Who are you? The man stepped out from behind the crates and confronted the boy. He just stood in front of the boy. I shall have one of those too, he said, pointing to the apple. He also asked for the apples to the boy. Sajid gave the man an apple and stood his ground while the carriage rocked on the trail. The man took a step forward, lost his balance, and sat down on the floor. And where are you going, friend? He asked. Have you a ticket? No, said Sajid. Have you? The man pulled at his beard and mused upon the question but didn't answer. He took a bite from the apple and said, No, I don't have a ticket, but I usually reserve this compartment for myself. This is the first time I have had company. Where are you going? Are you a hippie like me? So it's meant that this person was in the habit of traveling through such a train and in the same compartment. So he asked the boy, Where are you going? I don't know, said Sajid. Where does the train go? The scrubby, ticketless traveler looked concerned for a moment and said, Where do you want to go? I want to go everywhere, said Sajid. I want to go to England and China and Africa and Greenland. I want to go all over the world. Then you are on the right train, said the man. This train goes everywhere. First, it will take you to the sea, and there you will have to get on a ship if you want to go to China. How do I get on a ship? Asked Sajid. Can you cook? He asked. Yes, said Sajid untruthfully. Can you scrub the deck? Why not? Can you sail a ship? I can sail anything. Then you shall get to China, said the man. Sajid finished his apple, took another from the crate, and dug his teeth into it. He took aim with the core of the old apple and tried to hit a telegraph pole but missed it by meters. It was not the same as throwing a cricket ball. Then, to make the apple more interesting, he began to take big bites to see if he could devour it in 3 mouthfuls. But it took him 4 bites to finish the apple. So he started another. So just the man asking him that what he could do, and he was saying him untruthfully that he could do anything, and he was telling him that then you can travel on the ship. And during that time, Sajid just finished his one apple and threw its core towards the pole and just started to eat the other one. That one he finished in 4 bites and he started another one. Sajid had always wanted to be in a train that would take him to strange new places over hundreds and hundreds of the kilometers, and there was a train doing just that, and he was not quite sure if it was what he really wanted. Here the dream of the boy is told that he always wanted to travel by train, and now he got the chance to travel. The train was coming to a station. The engine whistled, slowed down. The number of the railway lines increased, crossed, spread out in different directions. Before the train could come to a stop, Sajid's companion came to the door and jumped to the ground. Before stopping the train, the man jumped out of the train. You'd better keep out of the sight if you don't want to be caught, he warned. And waving his hand, he disappeared into the jungle across the railway tracks. So he just warned him to hide himself behind the crates if he didn't want to be caught. And he left the train. The train was at siding. and Sajid couldn't see any signs of life, but he heard voices and the sound of carriage doors being opened and closed. He suspected that the apples wouldn't stay in the compartment much longer, so he stuffed one into each pocket and climbed onto the wooden rack in a corner. Presently, men's voices were heard in the doorway. Two laborers stepped into the compartment and began moving the crates towards the door, where they were taken over by others. Soon the compartment was empty. So the boy hid himself anywhere, and the two persons came there. They took away all the crates of the apples, and the compartment was empty now. Sajid waited until the men had gone away before coming down from the rack. After about 5 minutes, the train started again. It shunted up and down, then gathered speed and went rushing across the plain. The train started its journey again. Sajid felt a thrill of anticipation. Where would they be going now? He wondered what his parents would do when he failed to come home that night. They would think he had run away or been kidnapped or been involved in an accident. They would have the police out and there would be search parties. Sajid would be famous, the boy who disappeared. He was just wondering about his future. He was quite excited that now he is traveling by train and where the train would take him he didn't know, and he was just also thinking about his parents who would be worried about him. The train came out of the jungle and passed fields of the sugarcane and a village of mud huts. Children shouted and waved to the train, though there was no one in the except Sajid, the guard, and the engine driver. Sajid waved back. Usually he was in a field waving. Today he was actually on the train. First he was thinking that first he was like that children always waved the train, and now today he himself was in the train. He was beginning to enjoy the ride. The train would take him to the sea. There would be ships with funnels and ships with sails, and there might even be one to take him across the ocean, some distant land. He was just imagining that this train would take him to a distant land, and he would enter a ship, and there he would travel another land. He felt a bit sorry for his mother and father. They would miss him. They would believe he had been lost forever. But one day, a fortune made, he would return home, and then nobody would care any more about school reports and what he ate and why he came home late. Umair would be waiting for him at the station, and Sajid would bring him back a present, an African lion perhaps, or a transistor radio. But he wished Umair was with him now. He wished the ragged hippie was still with him, and adventure was always more fun when one had company. So he was just imagining about his parents and his friend Umair, and he was thinking that if Umair would be with him, he would enjoy more that travel, because adventures always more enjoyable if there is some company. So now we'll see that where the train would take him. He had finished both apples by the time the train showed signs of reaching another station. This time it seems to be moving into the station itself, not just a siding. It passed a lot of signals and buildings and advertisement boards before slowing to a halt beside a wide, familiar platform. Why this platform was familiar to him, we will see in the next paragraph. Sajid looked out of the door and caught sight of the board bearing the station's name. He was so astonished that the almost fell out of the compartment. He was back at his hometown. After traveling 40 or 50 miles, here he was home again. He was much surprised that when he looked out of the train again reached to the station from where he started his journey. He couldn't understand it. The train hadn't turned. Of that he was certain, and it hadn't been moving backward. He was certain of that too. He climbed out of the compartment and looked up and down the platform. Yes, the engine had changed ends. It was only the local apple train. Sajid glowered angrily at everyone on the platform. It was as though the rest of the world had played a trick on him. He was much surprised, and now he was quite sad that in spite of going anywhere else, he again reached to his hometown. He made his way to the waiting room and slipped into the street through the back door. He didn't want to ticket collector asking him awkward questions. It had been a free ride, and with that he comforted himself, shrugging his shoulders. Sajid sauntered down the road to the bazaar. Someday he thought he had take a train, really go somewhere, and he would buy a ticket just to make sure of getting there. I am going anywhere, he said fearlessly. I am going everywhere, and no one can stop me. Now he just had to go towards his home, and he was thinking that one day I would buy the ticket and nobody can stop me to go anywhere, and I would go anywhere where I would like to go. So it's an interesting journey of the boy who traveled by chance through a train, and again he reached his home, although he imagined to move somewhere else. Hope you had enjoyed the lesson.